So guys, is Tom a better boyfriend than Marco yet? Is he? Is he? Is he? Is he? Is he? Yeah, that's really annoying, right? Let's hope they don't have Tom do that for the duration of the season because I like him as a character, and he's definitely above that. So, but I'm gonna get a little into that later. I've got some interesting thoughts on it. So, welcome to another Star versus the versus Evil vlogs, and today's episode is another mystery and Marco Jr. So, with the first half, we actually got a Star and Tom episode. We actually don't see a lot of them together, considering that they are dating. And this episode made me a bit more noticeable about that. The only times we've seen them together was Demonsism and Club Snub for this season. They've spent other time together. Oh, and Monster Bash as well. But, like, I don't know. I still feel like I don't see them a lot together. So it's cool to have them go on an adventure instead of Star and Marco. So, Star is still sad that, she's going through a lot right now. The whole Butterfly Kingdom and stuff like that. Her family being tampered with by the council. The whole monster and human thing. That relationship kind of going down fast. And she's pretty much just like, man, I have no one to talk to about this stuff. And Tom's just like, I'm right here. I am literally right here. Like, this is what I am here for. So, unfortunately for them, their loving moment, or it looks like it was about to be a loving moment, is interrupted by Marco, which I'm just like, isn't that just every harem ever? Like, two characters talking, looks like they're about to get somewhere with a relationship, and then someone interrupts. But to be fair to Marco, he did interrupt with something important. He found that in Buffrog's office, because apparently he lives in, like, the castle now. I did not know this. I knew he was the human monster, like, expert, but I didn't know, like, he had an actual place in the castle. So that's really cool. He finds a letter from Buffrog and pretty much saying that, he's leaving. And Star and Marco find this odd because, first of all, the letter, they can actually read the letter, so they know, okay, this actually can't be Buffrog because this handwriting is actually legible. So Star tells Marco, okay, we're going to go find him and get my wand real quick. And while Marco's excited that apparently he gets to try another weapon, apparently he's been trying them out more and more, which I really want to see him, like, do more Squire stuff besides just take care of Glossaryck. Like, it sounds like he's doing some really cool stuff, like, off-screen, and I want to see it. But Tom asks Marco if, he could go on the adventure with Star. Marco says, no, it's fine, I'm her Squire, I got this. But, Tom is just like, listen, pretty much, you spend more time with her than I do, and I'm her boyfriend. Like, could you please do me a solid? And Marco, being the good guy that he is, actually does him the favor. He accidentally, like, tosses Glossaryck because he just caught him. That's how the episode opened up. And pretty much just like, oh no, Glossaryck's gone. Star, just go with Tom on this one. So, I guess Marco's being Tom's wingman on this one. Yes, because being the wing person for somebody, even though you have a crush on the person they're dating, we've all seen the history of Star Versus. That works out perfectly. So, just waiting for that to backfire. So yeah, Tom and Star go on an adventure, and it seems that not only just Buffrog is missing, but the entire monster village is just gone. Their whole community has just suddenly gone AWOL. We do get some very funny interactions between Star and Tom. They gel well together. I like this pairing, as much as some people will probably, like, dislike me saying that. I like this pairing. Most of the time, sometimes I feel like they have more in common than Star and Marco and stuff like that. But just my opinion. Eventually, however, they are darted and kidnapped by the same group of monsters, apparently. They say, don't look for Buffrog at all or anything like that, until Buffrog eventually himself shows up. And, so Star wants to know, like, what is going on. Buffrog, unfortunately, says that they're leaving to another dimension, that everything that's been happening with the humans and monsters, they don't like where this is going, and so they're pretty much just gonna dip. Star tries to plead with them, saying, like, things have, gotten better, which, to be fair, they have, but they did kind of take a turn for the worse. But, like, she's trying, which Buffrog does acknowledge. She says, you're a good person, you're actively trying to make this a thing, but it's just not gonna happen. Like, this is too big for you. Tom, in a good character moment, stands up for Star, just like, you guys are fools, like, things are changing. It's just like, me and Star are dating, like, we're dating, and apparently I slipped up. Apparently it was revealed that, Tom is a monster, which I wasn't too surprised about. Like, this was supposed to be some big reveal, and apparently even Star didn't know that. To be fair, he's half demon, half monster, but, like, I wasn't that surprising to me. I was just like, okay, you're a demon, so is that not the same thing? But apparently it's not. Like, apparently it is like race. You can't just assume that every demon and every monster is cut from the same cloth. So that shows what I know. Apparently Tom has a tail too, which, why doesn't he show more of that? Tails are awesome. Like, I want a tail personally. So Tom tries to plead with them, saying that, I'm a monster, so I understand how you guys feel and stuff like that. Even though I'm of, like, higher class, I still get discriminated against, essentially. And while the monsters hear him out, they still decide that, we had to leave. Like, it's just not gonna work. So, unfortunately, Buff Frog does leave and take all his buff babies with them. Side note, it was Katrina who left the note, and Buff Frog is a little bit mad at that because it's just like, okay, if I'm teaching you how to be a spy, don't leave a paper trail. Like, come on. So Star is pretty sad that all the monsters have pretty much left Muni now. Tom comforts her, saying that, we're dating now, and, if a monster and a Muni could date, then anything could happen. And, they hug and share a nice moment, and I was all for this episode. I was like, okay, this is good, I got no problems with this. I feel like they should have more Tom and Star interactions. And then, like, the ending, he just asked, so, did I do it better than Marco would have? And I'm just like, dude, really? I'm just like, you were so close. So close, and then you just had to add that last thing, and I'm just like, Tom, this is not helping your case, bro. Like, I actually like this character. I'm not like a lot of people who just because they're getting in the way of their precious ships, that I'm just going to dislike a character. It takes a lot for me to dislike a character, and I like the route that they're going with Tom with. I get his point of view a little bit, but, like, showing that kind of insecurity, like, over and over, especially in a relationship, is not good for the relationship's longevity. And not only that, on a personal level for Tom, like, he should have more confidence in himself. I mean, like, the dude is a pretty cool dude, personally. I'd hang out with the guy. So, like, him just, like, constantly questioning, would Marco do it better than me? Or, like, am I doing it better than him? It's just like, dude, like, have confidence in your work. Just be you. So, that's just my little note on that. I'll probably go back to that a little bit later. The next part was Marco Jr., and this got leaked pretty damn fast, like I said, even before, I believe, the first part of the episode. Angie is pregnant, apparently. She's going to have a child, and they're going to name him Marco Jr., which Marco is just like, you don't name a child after your other child. That's really weird. Initially, I thought Marco would be like, oh my god, like, a little brother or a little sister. Well, now we know he's going to be a big brother to another boy. I thought he'd be, like, kind of hesitant against this, but he was actually for the idea, so that was nice. We got a lot of funny interactions between Star, Marco, and the DS family. It was actually good to see this dynamic again. We haven't seen, like, the four of them kind of, like, play off of each other since Season 1. So it's good that we got to go back to the Earth dimension and just get a nice cool down with everything that's been happening with the eclipse and stuff like that. It's nice to have a little bit of a break. But Marco does feel bad, though, that he hasn't been around, and feels even worse that he did not get them a gift. Apparently, he did not bother looking at the invitation that said that you need to bring a gift at a baby shower. So Star recommends that they just go get something at Quest Buy, which, bad idea. I mean, nothing there is really... I'll put it this way. Nothing is there is safe for an adult, much less a baby. So eventually, Star gives him the idea that, maybe you should just get a portrait of yourself. So, to remind that, you are still here and part of the family. Marco agrees, but like Quest Buy, everything there is pretty shady. So they go to this guy to get a portrait. And he says that it's a magical portrait. Like, to do this, I have to know more about you, but Marco doesn't have any kind of patience for that. So he gives him a Scantron test to know more about his personality, but Marco, like many other students who've just given up on tests, starts randomly filling in everything. And, surprise, surprise, the portrait is hideous. Like, he gives it there, and apparently they didn't look at it before they got there, which is weird. So portrait is pretty much gross, like nightmare fuel. Which leaves Marco even more sad. But it gets even weirder when he starts turning into the portrait. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. Nightmare fuel. I feel like Star Versus took a page out of Gravity Falls book in the "this is creeping me out" department. So Marco starts turning into the portrait itself. So they need to go back to the guy to figure out what's going on. And he explains that, well, the portrait is a reflection of Marco. So why he still has to turn into that, I don't know. But so he says that the only way to do it is to do the test over properly and accurately, so he'll transform back. Marco's parents volunteered to take the test because they feel like they know him, but seeing that he's been away on Muni, and not just since Muni, since about season 2, like Marco's gone through some serious stuff. So like when they try to answer the questions that is being presented, like one of them was, what's your favorite thing? What's your son's favorite thing to ride? And obviously it's Dragon Cycle. We all know that, but they're just like, what the heck's a Dragon Cycle? So Star intervenes saying that, listen, you know, he's been through a lot. He's grown way more than you think he has. And once they realize this, they say, okay, Star, you take the test. Obviously, you're better suited for this. She takes the test accurately, and they pretty much change him back. At the end of the episode, Marco pretty much says that, you know, I'll promise I'll visit more often and I'll, you know, be more involved with the kid and stuff like that. He doesn't want them. Oh God, it sounds like he's the one having the child. He doesn't want his, like, little brother to, you know, not know who he is. So, like I said, it was a good episode. This was more of a cool down episode, something we really needed. Like I said, with the whole monster stuff, Eclipsa, the butterfly family being tampered with. It was good to nice have just a good cool down episode. And like I said before, it's great to see the four of them, you know, playing off of each other again. We haven't seen that since the earlier episodes where like there wasn't really much plot involved. So it was good. It was a nice callback to that. Anything else that I want to say? I think I've hit all my points that I want to. One more thing on the Tom thing. Here's how I feel like this might, you know, go down. Because a lot of people are just counting the days for them to break up. But, like I said, I actually like this pairing, but it will eventually end. And I'm kind of hoping Tom's the one to end it this time. I kind of want him to realize that, you know, him constantly comparing himself to Marco is not good for him, and it's just not worth it. Because, you know, he feels like he's better than that. I want that to happen. Like, because Star broke up with him the first time. This time I want... Again, I don't want anyone to be heartbroken, but if I had to choose, I would want Tom to break up with Star for that reason. Like, I just feel like his character is above just comparing himself to Marco, and, like, I really hope they just don't do that. If it was a one-time thing, I'll forgive him, but, like, don't make this a recurring thing. Please do not make this a recurring thing. Like, just don't do it. Alright, so the next episodes are, I believe, Schooled and Booth Buddies, if I'm correct. So I will be back up with that as soon as I can. And that is pretty much it for me. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.